In 2015, this company was pulling in millions of free visitors to their site. Unlike their competitors who were burning their cash on advertising, this sales exec and software engineer duo spotted an opportunity, one that would change the SEO industry forever. They didn't have big budgets, a big team, or extensive marketing experience. So how did they manage to break through and compete with companies spending millions of dollars in ads? Well, they had a genius SEO strategy that helped launch their company, HubSpot, into billion-dollar status, and I'm going to break down the playbook that millions of marketers and companies copied and still use today. But I need to take you back to 2006, where it all started. Back then, online marketing was very different. A lot of it had to do with buying ads and being very disruptive. People didn't know that you could get traffic for free. And so Dharmesh Shah and Brian Halligan, who are the co-founders of HubSpot, they basically came up with this idea of inbound marketing. In their book, Inbound Marketing, they argue that shopping had changed and that interrupting potential customers via outbound methods was inefficient. The real key to growth was inbound attraction. And the best way to attract people without breaking the bank? SEO. They figured, well, hey, if people are searching for best marketing software, we might as well just get them to come to us. Inbound marketing was working, but the founders of HubSpot saw a much bigger opportunity. If they were right, it wouldn't just drive traffic. It would become the foundation of a billion-dollar growth strategy powered by SEO. So around 2016, HubSpot was about to stress test their vision by building a dedicated all-star SEO team and making organic search their primary growth engine. What happened next was beyond any marketer's comprehension. So this is basically their organic traffic. They had massive, rapid growth throughout the years. It's just like up and to the right, 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 and right. And they just kept going up. Their most visited page from organic search was HubSpot.com. And they'd have things like this, like follow-up email after an interview, how to build Excel graph. They're creating content that seems somewhat random, right? So why do they need to do that as a sales and marketing tool? HubSpot had cracked the SEO code and was pulling in millions of visitors. On the surface, it looked like they were just chasing traffic. But look closer, and their strategy becomes undeniable. Every page, every article wasn't just about ranking, it was about turning search traffic into real business growth. Their SEO strategy wasn't separate from their marketing funnel, it was the driving force behind it. This was exactly what Shah and Halligan outlined in part 3 of their book. Check this out. Every piece of content that HubSpot creates is built around a lead magnet. This is right below the heading. Download now 30 follow-up email templates. You click on it and you end up at offers.hubspot.com, and now you can download it for free, but you got to enter your email, right? Look, you can download Facebook covers and templates. They've basically templated their marketing strategy, their SEO strategy, which makes a whole lot of sense here. They probably have hundreds and hundreds of pages. Even their offers page gets 67,000 monthly organics. According to Ahrefs, 1,043 different offers in here. So at their peak, they had roughly 10 million monthly organics just to their blog content. HubSpot's blog was a lead generating machine, but blog content was just the beginning. Blog content was just one format that people were using for content marketing. HubSpot had a much bigger play in mind, one that would capture more leads using a strategy few companies were taking seriously at the time. On page 100 of their book, Shah and Halligan put it plainly. They were going to create content with code instead of text. They also created tools. You can see a whole bunch of free tools. So what are they doing with these free tools? Let's see all of them. Their AI search grader. Look at that. You got to enter your information in order to use their AI search grader. I'm going to take all these tools that they have. All right, so I've got a list, and let's see how much traffic these URLs have gotten over time. Wow, that's actually a lot more traffic than I thought. In 2015, they started with next to no organic traffic to these tools, but these 10 URLs, have consistently been driving 160,000, 130,000, 100,000 monthly organic visits to a lead generation page. They are all in on inbound marketing via SEO. They create subfolders for each of their products, right? So marketing, sales, website, service. They acquired The Hustle, and we'll get into that a little later. And then they're attracting their customers, people who will be interested in a marketing tool, who will be interested in a sales tool, who will be interested in a website builder. And they're creating content around those pages, creating lead magnets, and eventually trying to sell them through email, through probably retargeting ads, and probably using their own tools to actually do that. And I think that's a pretty freaking cool thing to do. Yeah, I dig that. HubSpot wasn't just following the playbook they outlined in 2014. They were proving it worked and were defining what SEO could do for a business. But they were about to take that philosophy to the extreme. Instead of just giving away content and lightweight tools, they were about to give away something far bigger, something that could put their entire business at risk. So back in 2016, I remember when HubSpot released their free CRM. It was all the rage. And this is a time where most stuff costs something. Right now, we give content for free. We have an influx of content. We have too much content inventory that now we're fighting for attention, right? So it was a very different world back then, where if you gave something for free, like software, like a big tool like this, everyone would talk about it. And that's what happened with HubSpot. I'm guessing it was a very calculated and deliberative move where they would sacrifice short-term revenue in exchange to create an ecosystem. Their CRM is kind of at the core of everything. And everything else, all the tools that they create kind of integrate with that CRM. And it's basically like looking at Apple versus Samsung. So you buy an iPhone, you buy a Mac because your calendars sync up. For HubSpot to give it for free was clutch, for a lot of people who couldn't afford it at that time. And one of those people was me. And there were so many different ways to use it. I used it for link building, for outreach. It was free, actually free. They're giving you free stuff. You're giving them permission to contact you, which is not a bad thing because you're getting value from that as well. They're able to understand what you're interested in, and they're able to recommend different products that they have. That might even just be the free CRM to get you in their ecosystem. Then they're able to offer you different products there too. So I think that's mad cool. HubSpot's free CRM wasn't just a giveaway. It was a Trojan horse into their ecosystem. But their strategy didn't stop at SEO or free tools. They were about to take an even bigger swing, one that would transform them from a software company into something much more. Around 4 years ago, Dharmesh Shah, he posted something on LinkedIn. He said, modern media companies have a software company embedded inside. Next-gen software companies will have a media company embedded inside. And so HubSpot, they created something called the HubSpot Podcast Network. They have all sorts of different great podcasts on here that people who are interested in business, marketing, sales will be interested in, and they're getting attention in your ears. They made a decent-sized acquisition of The Hustle. So Sam Parr, who was the founder, he says, my company, The Hustle, is being acquired by HubSpot. The goal is to build the largest business content network in the world. So HubSpot is acquiring a media company, and Dharmesh is basically putting his money where his mouth is. HubSpot had moved beyond SEO, but they hadn't abandoned their playbook for good reason. They were still using content to attract attention, capture leads, and convert customers. Only now, they weren't just ranking on Google, they were building an entire media empire. On My First Million, on every single episode that they publish, they are promoting HubSpot. In the middle of the podcast episodes, they always have an ad read for HubSpot, and it's the same thing. People are consuming content. This time, they're not going in through search, so they don't have a specific intent, but they just want to listen to whatever Sam and Sean are talking about. And they're offering lead magnets now through video. What are they offering? They're offering a playbook to spot business trends. You got to enter your email to do that, and you end up getting input into their sales tool and through whichever funnel you'll end up going through depending on how you behave. So HubSpot, a $38 billion company today. They started small with an idea of inbound marketing. They would attract free visitors through SEO, through Google search, and they would convert many of those people into leads. Then using their own sales tools, they would qualify those leads, convert some of them into customers, bring others who weren't ready to make a purchase into their ecosystem through their free CRM, and eventually they would be able to upsell different tools as those businesses grew which has clearly worked and has helped build the empire that they are today. So good on you, HubSpot. If you want to learn how to get traffic from Google, watch our free SEO course for beginners right here on YouTube.